It's weird for me to say that I've gone nearly a decade not caring about Halo. I know for those who didn't grow up with Halo, it's easy to dismiss it as just some generic shooter for console babies, but you have to understand, for those who did grow up with it, it's responsible for so many friendships, communities, and even careers that it's hard not to feel precious about it. Yet somehow, after Halo Reach, I just couldn't find it in me anymore to care about Halo. There have been endless essays and opinions on why Halo 4 and 5 may have missed the mark and split the fandom, and a lot of them are valid. However, for me personally, more than anything, I think I just needed a break. Playing a single series non-stop for over a decade will drain you no matter how good it is or how many different modes they add. Even the creators of Halo eventually reached a point where they wanted nothing to do with it anymore. And for the longest time, I had assumed that that break was never really gonna end, you know? Halo was just a phase of my life that, no matter how impactful, was over. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, Xbox started slowly bringing the Halo Master Chief Collection to PC. Getting to try them again on a platform I actually owned in a, mostly, more functional state than it launched back on Xbox in, playing custom games and co-op campaigns with friends again, it resurrected some of that lost interest. I realized that I still love those games. I still loved Halo. Then came all the build-up to the reveal of Halo Infinite, and its return to the classic art style and setting the series is named after. For the first time in literal years, I was actually excited for a new Halo game. Jump to just a couple days ago and we finally got a look at what that new Halo game actually plays like. And it looks really fun. Now, much has been said about the graphics, of which is all legitimate, but I can't feign interest in that department. I play games like Xenoverse 2 on the daily, which might be one of the ugliest games I've ever played, and I still love its stupid nonsense. What's left the biggest impression on me with Halo Infinite's demonstration was its sandbox. Halo 4 and 5 really cluttered their sandboxes with overlapping and obnoxious weapons and abilities that did nothing but overcomplicate things. Halo Infinite's focus on few upgradable multi-purpose equipment like this grappling hook seems to better hit that balance of being easy to understand while leaving endless possibilities for player experimentation. You can seemingly hook onto anything with varying effects. Based on the demo, it seems to be taking an MGS5 style open approach to level design without the needless open world part. This, along with the aforementioned abilities like the grappling hook, are the exact type of tools that make the sandboxes in games like Breath of the Wild so intrinsically fun. Just like being able to climb on anything, being able to zip on anything means the only limit to problem solving is the player's creativity. If you have nothing to use those tools on though, then what's the point? Luckily, the AI seems to have been improved since the last couple games. Brutes can be tripped by shooting their legs, which adds a new layer of decision making when choosing where to shoot them. They can throw grunts, meaning you have to watch out for when brutes and grunts are grouped together. Enemy placement in general seems to be about as thoughtful as it was in the Bungie days. Meaning, grunts and jackals are typically in the front to shield elites and brutes, unless they have longer range weapons like a needler, in which case they're off to the side, hiding, trying to pick you off from range. The brutes and elites with power and range weapons are typically stowed somewhere in the back, meaning you still have to make that decision of, is it worth to take out the one big guy or the many little guys first? Having to make these kinds of decisions based on the enemy's placement within the level design is what makes for an engaging sandbox. Speaking of, the level design itself seems to have a lot of verticality to it now, which leaves even more potential open for the grappling hook. It is a bigger world though, so you're going to need some modes of transportation, and luckily transportation of long distances is bound to be endless fun in something as floaty and fast as the Warthog. Everything they showed, much to my genuine surprise, looked well thought out and enjoyable. Of course, this is all just my impression of an 8-minute gameplay demonstration, but I really want to get across just how much more interesting this looks than anything 4 or 5 ever showed off. Those games often felt like they were chasing trends and losing a unique identity as a result. This game definitely appears to have some cookie-cutter elements, but when you see that vista, the one with the clouds popping in, and that choir plays, just... you're on your own on this beautiful alien construct, scrambling with these distinct yet simple weaponry against these similarly distinct yet simple alien creatures that range from twice or half your size. All of this happens as an awe-inspiring score sweeps you off your feet. Man, that's Halo! And I missed that feeling so much more than I expected to. Halo Infinite looks to capture that feeling in ways I never expected another Halo to ever be capable of. I'm now more optimistic about Halo's future than I ever have been. But that's why I'm also so scared. Reading the interviews with 343 after the gameplay was revealed gives the impression that the game is being rushed out the door. We always knew it had a troubled development. Developing a next-gen engine and a full AAA game to premiere it in is a hell Square Enix could tell you plenty of stories about. However, what frightens me even more than that is that Xbox and Microsoft have made it clear that they want this game to be a platform, for 10 years in fact. With how expensive AAA game development can be nowadays, it is the dream scenario to keep making money off the same game with support for 10 years, instead of having to make a brand new one from scratch every 2 to 5. But what scares me about that is how much the game is inevitably going to change. Say Halo Infinite comes out, and I love it. If I ever get sick of Halo again and take another nearly decade-long break, will I be able to come back to Infinite and play the same game I did a decade ago? With it being a platform, almost certainly not. In Halo 5, for example, that game's multiplayer changed so much over its lifespan that by the end, it was basically unrecognizable. You can't go back and play the breakout mode you loved at the beginning of Halo 5 anymore because now it has completely different rules. With all of Halo Infinite being a platform, that scenario can now apply to the campaign too. Games are already treated as the most replaceable form of art. See that Madden 21 you spent $70 on? Well, a year has passed, so throw that junk out the window and do it again with Madden 22. While Halo Infinite being a platform does technically fix that scenario, it also makes it worse in a different way. If you liked Madden 21 more than 22, you can always go back to the one you like and play that instead. With this new Halo, that isn't a guarantee, and that's scary. A lot of people may have abandoned Halo CE when 2 came out, and same with 2 to 3, but they're all their own games. Each have dedicated fans who still play them. I'm sure after Infinite comes out, there will be some dedicated Halo 5 players who hate Halo Infinite. This is looking to be my favorite Halo in a long time, but how long is it going to stay that way? I can't be certain, and honestly, 343 can't be either because of so much outside forces like fan feedback and monetization plans. At the very least, for the first time in nearly a decade, I'm willing to take a chance. I liked the potential in what I saw in that demonstration that much. So for now, we'll just have to wait and see. Will Halo Infinite reclaim that legendary status Halo once had? Or will it become a monument? A monument to 343, a monument to Microsoft, to Xbox, a monument to all their sins. Please forgive me, Lord, that was so cringe.